What if I told you that being broke isn't just about how much you earn, but about what you don't know? The rich aren't just lucky. They follow unwritten money rules that keep them ahead, while the rest keep making the same mistakes without even realizing it. Think about it. Two people can start with the same amount of money, yet one builds wealth while the other struggles paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because one understands the game of money and the other is unknowingly playing to lose. The truth is, there are 15 rules that the wealthy master, rules that keep them growing richer while the poor stay stuck in a cycle of debt, stress, and missed opportunities. These rules decide who thrives and who struggles. Ignore them, and you'll stay stuck. Learn them, and your entire financial future could change. Most people will never hear these rules, but today you will. If you're ready to see money the way the rich do, let's begin. Rule number 1. Taxes tell us where to invest. Most people see taxes as just another bill to pay, but what if I told you they're actually a guide to smarter investing? The tax code isn't just a set of rules, it's a roadmap. If you know where to look, it shows you exactly where to put your money to reduce your taxes and grow your wealth at the same time. The government offers tax breaks to encourage certain investments, and if you follow those signals, you can legally keep more of what you earn. Take passive income, for example. If you make money from rental properties or a business you don't actively manage, you can use passive losses to lower your tax bill. That's why so many wealthy people invest in real estate. Not only do rental properties bring in steady income, but they also come with tax advantages that help reduce what you owe. Now, let's say you're retired and collecting Social Security. You might worry about earning extra income because it could push you into a higher tax bracket, but here's where the tax code gives you a smart option. Dividend-paying stocks. Qualified dividends are taxed at long-term capital gains rates, which means some people pay 0% in taxes on them. If you're married and filing jointly, you could make 6 figures and still owe nothing on your dividends. That's essentially free money just for choosing the right investments. And it doesn't stop there. If you have passive loss carry forwards from previous investments, the tax code is practically inviting you to earn passive income, because now that income could be tax-free. This is why wealthy people don't just rely on a paycheck. They build multiple streams of income, taxed at lower rates. They structure their money into 3 categories. Active income, like a salary or a business they manage. Passive income, from rental properties or businesses they don't actively run. Investment income, from dividends, capital gains, or royalties. The more they shift their money away from active work and into investments, the lower their taxes become. Here's something that might surprise you. Someone working full-time at a fast food restaurant might pay more in taxes than a real estate investor making the same amount of money. That might seem unfair, but it's not about fairness. It's about understanding the system. The government actually wants people to invest in real estate because it boosts the economy. That's why real estate investors get big tax benefits like 1031 exchanges, which lets you swap properties without paying taxes on the sale. Depreciation deductions, where you can write off property value loss on paper, even if the value is going up. The stepped-up basis, which lets real estate be passed down to heirs without capital gains taxes. If you're paying too much in taxes, it's not because you're making too much. It's because you're making it the wrong way. The tax system isn't designed to punish you. In fact, it shows you exactly how to lower your tax bill, if you know where to look. At the end of the day, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Learning how to take advantage of these tax strategies and investing in the right income-producing assets is the key to long-term financial freedom. Rule number 2, the 30-30-30-10 rule for investments. If you want a simple way to manage your money and grow your wealth, the 30-30-30-10 rule is a great strategy to follow. It helps you balance risk, build steady income, and ensure you always have cash when needed. The idea is simple. Divide your money into 4 key areas, each with a specific purpose. This keeps your investments diversified while giving you financial security. First, 10% of your money should be in cash or cash-like assets. This is your financial safety net. Having money in cash, gold, or even Bitcoin means you won't have to sell your investments at a bad time if an emergency comes up. Whether you need funds for an unexpected expense or a new opportunity, This cushion gives you flexibility. Next, 30% should go into stocks and exchange-traded funds to help your money grow. Instead of gambling on random stocks, focus on companies that pay dividends. These reward you just for holding on to their shares. You can invest in well-known stock market index funds or funds that focus on companies with strong dividend payouts. The goal here is to create passive income while your investments grow in value. Another 30% should be allocated to real estate or real estate-related investments. But this does not mean buying a home to live in. It means investing in properties that generate income. You can own rental properties or invest in real estate investment trusts, which lets you own a share of real estate profits without managing tenants. Real estate is valuable because it provides steady cash flow and long-term growth. The last 30% should go into professionally managed investments. This includes private investments, business partnerships, or portfolios handled by financial experts. If you are not comfortable making investment decisions on your own, working with a certified financial planner can help you grow your money while learning from experienced professionals. This part of your portfolio allows you to benefit from expert knowledge without needing to track the market every day. One reason the 30-30-30-10 rule works so well is that it gives you a solid mix of investments. Some people argue that diversification isn't necessary and that billionaires like Elon Musk got rich by going all in on one company. But the truth is, most people don't have a billion-dollar business to fall back on. Even Elon Musk has admitted that at one point, he thought Tesla and SpaceX would fail. For most investors, a smarter approach is to build a portfolio that generates consistent income while reducing risk. No strategy is perfect, but this method ensures that if one part of your portfolio struggles, the others can help balance things out. At the end of the day, investing is about making smart, long-term choices that align with your financial goals. The 30-30-30-10 rule gives you a clear, structured way to grow your wealth, protect your money, and build a future of financial freedom. Rule number 3, the rule of 72. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And there's a simple trick to understand why. It's called the rule of 72. This rule gives you a quick way to estimate how long it will take for your money to double. Just take the interest rate you're earning and divide it into 72. The answer tells you roughly how many years it will take for your investment to grow twofold. For example, if your money is growing at 10% per year, divide 72 by 10. That gives you a little over 7 years to double your investment. And once it doubles, it keeps doubling. This is how small investments, given enough time, turn into large amounts of wealth. Let's say you start with $10,000, it grows to $20,000, then $40,000, then $80,000, and so on. Before you know it, that original amount has multiplied many times over. Yes, it takes patience, but the key is that your money grows without you having to work for it. Some people might think, I don't have thousands of dollars to invest. But you don't need a huge starting amount. Even small, regular investments can follow the same principle. Many self-made millionaires didn't inherit money or have high-paying jobs. They simply saved, invested wisely, and let time do the work. In fact, studies show that teachers are among the most common self-made millionaires. They didn't build wealth from huge salaries, but from consistency and smart investing. The most important thing isn't how much you start with, it's how early you start. The sooner you invest, the more time your money has to grow. That's the real secret to building wealth. Rule number 4, the 1% rule for improvement. Imagine if you improve by just 1% every day. It doesn't sound like much, but over a year, that small daily progress adds up, making you 37 times better than when you started. This is the power of consistency. When it comes to building wealth or mastering a skill, most people search for a big breakthrough, a lucky investment, a perfect business idea, or an overnight success. But in reality, true success comes from small, repeated actions that build up over time. Think about it. Reading a few pages of a finance book each day won't make you rich overnight, but over time, it changes the way you think about money. Investing just a little extra each week might not seem like much now, but in a few years, it could grow into something significant. Meeting one successful person a month won't transform your life immediately, but those connections can open doors you never expected. Learning a new skill today might not double your income tomorrow, but it sets you up for bigger opportunities in the future. None of these actions seem life-changing on their own, but over time, they add up. In 5 years, you could be in the exact same place, or you could be miles ahead simply because you took small, consistent steps forward. The truth is, success isn't about giant leaps. It's about steady, intentional progress that compounds over time. Start today, keep going, and your future self will thank you. Rule number 5, the 70-30 rule. Managing money doesn't have to be stressful. A simple way to stay on top of your finances is by following the 70-30 rule. The idea is easy. You live on 70% of your income and use the remaining 30% wisely. That extra money can be split into 3 important areas: giving, paying off debt, and investing. If you don't have debt or prefer not to give, you can put the entire 30% into investments and let your money grow. The key to financial success isn't just about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep and what you do with it. If you want to get ahead, discipline is essential. Spending less than you make and consistently investing will set you up for long-term stability. At the end of the day, being intentional with your money is what leads to financial freedom. Living within your means now allows you to enjoy a better future. The 70-30 rule is a simple but powerful way to start making that happen. Rule number 6, time versus timing the market. A lot of people try to outsmart the stock market, thinking they can predict when prices will rise and fall. But the truth is, timing the market is nearly impossible. Studies have shown that even if you invested at the absolute lowest point every time, you'd only be slightly ahead of someone who simply invested consistently over the years. The difference isn't as big as you might think. What really matters isn't timing, it's time. Staying invested for the long haul is what makes the real difference. Even if you had only bought stocks when the S&P 500 hit an all-time high, you'd still be ahead today. That's because the stock market, despite short-term dips, has been steadily climbing for decades, averaging about 10% annual returns. Instead of trying to guess the perfect entry point, the smarter move is to invest regularly and let time do the heavy lifting. Long-term investing has proven itself over and over again. One study found that if you invest consistently for 15 years, your chances of losing money drop to 0. This was true even during major downturns like the 2008 financial crisis when the market plunged 38%. Investors who stayed the course still came out ahead. And if you were holding dividend-paying stocks, such as dividend aristocrats and dividend kings, your losses would have been much lower, since these stocks tend to be more stable. The longer your money stays in the market, the greater your potential gains. Just look at companies like Coca-Cola, Berkshire Hathaway, or Nvidia. People who invested in them early and held on made a fortune. Even if you had simply put your money into an index fund like SPY or VOO, which track the S&P 500, you'd still have seen strong growth over time. Historically, at average market returns, your money doubles every 7 years. That's the true power of long-term investing. Rule number 7, debt versus leverage. Debt is when you borrow money to buy something that loses value over time. Leverage is when you borrow money to buy something that makes you money. The difference between the two is what separates financial stress from financial success. Think about it. If you take out a loan to buy a brand new car, the moment you drive it off the lot, it starts losing value. You're still making payments, but the car is worth less every day. That's debt. Now imagine taking out a loan to buy a rental property. That property not only appreciates in value over time, but it also generates rental income and tax benefits. That's leverage. One drains your wallet, while the other builds your financial future. The problem with bad debt is that it traps you in a cycle of payments for things that don't pay you back. Credit cards, car loans, and financing expensive gadgets all fall into this category. The worst part? You're often paying interest on top of the original price, making it even harder to get ahead. This is how people end up buried in financial stress, struggling just to keep up. But leverage, when used wisely, can be a powerful tool. If you take out a mortgage to buy a rental property, you have to make sure that after covering all expenses, loan payments, taxes, maintenance, you're still making a profit. If the property generates more income than the cost of the loan, that's smart leverage. If not, it's just another liability disguised as an investment. Ever heard Robert Kiyosaki say, I'm $1 billion in debt? What he really means is he has $1 billion in leveraged assets that have grown in value. The rental income and appreciation of those properties far outweigh the cost of the loans. That's how the rich use leverage to multiply their wealth. Real estate is a great example. Since COVID-19, home values have skyrocketed by nearly 93% in many metropolitan areas. The average homeowner's equity jumped from $120,000 to $200,000. Meanwhile, many wealthy individuals also borrow against their stock portfolios to buy more assets, using the returns from their investments to pay off their debt while still making money. That's the true power of leverage. Now let's talk about the dark side of debt. Credit card companies don't even hide their intentions. Take MasterCard, for example. The name literally says, "I am your master." Many people are stuck paying 20 to 23% interest, barely covering the minimum balance, and watching their debt grow out of control. When that happens, you're not working for yourself anymore. You're working for the banks. The goals should be clear. Eliminate bad debt as fast as possible and use leverage only when it helps you build income-producing assets. That's the difference between struggling to make ends meet and creating lasting financial freedom. Rule number 8, the 5% rule, when to rent versus buy. If you're thinking about buying a home, there's a simple way to figure out whether renting or buying is the smarter choice. It's called the 5% rule, and it can help you avoid making a costly mistake. Here's how it works. If you can rent a home for less than 5% of its market value per year, renting is usually the better option. Why? Because the actual cost of owning a home, things like property taxes, insurance, and maintenance, often adds up to around 5% of the home's value each year. And that's before even considering mortgage interest if you're taking out a loan. Let's say there's a home worth a lot of money. If you can rent it for much less per year, renting is likely the smarter move. Many people assume that buying is always better, but that's not always true. Real estate agents often focus on selling the most expensive home you can afford, but they don't always mention the hidden costs, repairs, taxes, insurance, and upkeep. If you buy an older home, you might also face major expenses like fixing the roof or upgrading plumbing. Think about expensive cities where property taxes are high and maintenance costs add up fast. Homeowners insurance can also be pricey, especially in areas prone to natural disasters. These are all things to consider before deciding to buy. Here's an example. Someone once had the chance to buy a home, but decided to rent instead. The home's price was very high, but renting a similar place was much cheaper. Housing prices were at an all-time high, and sure enough, a couple of years later, the home's value dropped significantly. If they had bought it, they would have lost a lot of money. Instead, they invested the difference and made a better return elsewhere. That's why it's important to run the numbers before buying. Even if a home increases in value, you still have to deal with property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and market ups and downs. If you stretch your finances too thin, it can be harder to build real financial freedom. By using the 5% rule, you can make a smarter choice, renting when it makes sense and investing your money where it can grow. Rule number 9, the importance of timing. Seeds and their seasons. One of the most important lessons in building financial freedom is understanding the right timing. Think of it like planting a seed. You can't expect to see results overnight. If you harvest too early, you miss out on the full potential. But if you wait too long without a plan, you might lose out altogether. This principle applies to investing, business, and real estate. Knowing when to buy, when to hold, and when to sell can make all the difference. People often get impatient, wanting quick returns, but real wealth comes from strategic timing and discipline. Take investing, for example. If you put money into long-term assets like real estate, businesses, or stocks, you need to understand the growth cycle. Jumping in at the wrong time or pulling out too soon can hurt your returns. A classic example is real estate investors who expect instant profits. Some get lucky flipping houses, but many fail because they don't consider where the market is in its cycle. Look at what happened in places like Phoenix during the housing crash. Some buyers thought they were getting a great deal when home prices dropped slightly. They rushed in, thinking they could flip a property for a profit. But the market kept crashing, and they were stuck with massive losses simply because they misread the timing. The same idea applies to business investments. Some businesses take years to mature and generate real returns. If you pull your money out too soon, you never see the full potential. But if you stay patient and let your investment grow, the rewards can be huge. Think of your money like a seed. If you spend it immediately, it never grows. But if you plant it in the right place, take care of it, and wait for the right time to harvest, you'll build real financial security. This takes patience, discipline, and the ability to learn from those who have already succeeded. The biggest financial mistakes happen when people ignore timing. Don't let that be you. Rule number 10. Your dollars are your army. Think of your money like a team of soldiers, each one with a mission: to go out, work hard, and bring back more money. But just like any army, you have to lead them wisely. If you send them into losing battles, they'll get wiped out. If you waste them on reckless decisions, they won't be able to fight for you when you need them most. The key is to deploy your money strategically so it grows and multiplies over time. A smart investor never uses their hard-earned paycheck for luxuries. Instead, they let their assets pay for their lifestyle. Want a sports car? Let your investments cover the cost. Dreaming of a big house? Make sure your portfolio is generating enough income to afford it. Your job isn't to work endlessly for money. It's to build a system where your money works for you. There are many ways to put your money to work: earning interest, collecting dividends, growing through capital gains, or using strategies like covered calls and peer-to-peer lending. The goal is simple: turn your money into a force that never stops growing. If you play the game right, your wealth will keep expanding, and soon your money will be making more money than you ever could on your own. Rule number 11. Cash flow first, net worth second. Having a high net worth might look great on paper, but it won't pay your bills. What truly gives you financial freedom is cash flow. Money coming in every month without you having to work for it. Think about it. Would you rather have a huge net worth with no passive income, or a smaller amount of assets that bring in steady money every month? Most people would choose the second option because it allows them to live freely. This is why wealthy people focus on income-producing assets. Things like rental properties, dividend stocks, businesses, and royalties. These keep money flowing in, month after month, whether they work or not. On the other hand, many people focus on building a high net worth by putting money into a retirement account or hoping their home increases in value. But when they need money, they either have to sell assets or take on debt. This is why some retirees struggle financially despite having a high net worth. They don't have enough cash flow to cover their expenses. The key takeaway? Prioritize passive income first, then focus on net worth. A big number on a balance sheet might be impressive, but steady cash flow is what truly gives you financial freedom. Rule number 12. Be a student of money. If you want to be truly financially free, you have to treat money like a subject you never stop learning. The wealthiest people don't just make money. They study it, respect it, and understand how it works. There's a simple truth. If you don't care about money, it won't care about you. People who resent money or think it's the root of all evil usually struggle with it. But those who take the time to understand it, manage it well, and make smart decisions tend to attract more of it. I learned this firsthand in my early 20s. I used to think working harder was the only way to get rich. I was grinding nonstop, believing that if I just put in enough effort, the money would follow. But then I met someone who completely changed my perspective. He told me, "You don't get rich by working harder, you get rich by working smarter." That hit me. I realized I needed to stop trading time for money and start learning how to make money work for me. That's when I became obsessed with investing, passive income, and financial strategies. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that mindset plays a massive role in wealth. Your mindset shapes your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions determine your financial future. If you think getting rich is impossible, it will be. But if you believe that money is a tool you can master, you'll start seeing opportunities everywhere. Some of the most successful people I've met are lifelong learners. They're in their 70s or 80s, and they still have that curiosity. I once met a man in his late 70s who had already built multiple successful businesses, yet he was excitedly telling me about a new investment strategy he was studying. It wasn't about the money for him, It was about the joy of learning and growing. That's the real key. When you approach money as something to master, not just something to chase, the entire game changes. Learning about investments, business, and finance becomes exciting. It stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like an opportunity. So make it a habit. Be a student of money. Learn before you earn, and then never stop growing. Rule number 13. The 4 types of wealth. Being rich isn't just about having a lot of money. It's about understanding the different types of wealth. The first, of course, is financial wealth. This is the ability to afford things, pay for experiences, and have a level of security. It's important, but it's just the starting point. Then there's social wealth, the recognition and status that come with money. The fancy house, the luxury car, the lifestyle that gets admiration from others. While financial and social wealth can feel rewarding, they aren't the most valuable forms of wealth. The real game changers are time wealth and health wealth. Time wealth means having complete control over your schedule. You can take a month-long vacation without worrying about work or drop everything to be there for a loved one without asking for permission. That's real freedom. Health wealth, on the other hand, is the ability to enjoy life without constantly battling health issues. What's the point of being rich if you're too exhausted, sick, or stressed to enjoy it? Too many people trade their time and health for money and social status. They grind away for years chasing financial success, only to realize they've sacrificed the things that truly matter. I've seen this firsthand. I used to work endless hours, constantly pushing myself to achieve more. At the time, it felt like the right thing to do. More work meant more money, which I thought would eventually lead to happiness. But all it really did was drain me. It took a toll on my health, and I had no real freedom. I was making money, but I wasn't living. Then I started prioritizing differently. Instead of chasing money and status, I focused on building a life where I controlled my time and took care of my health. Now I can travel whenever I want, spend time with the people I love, and truly enjoy life. That's the kind of wealth that matters most. Yes, financial and social wealth have their place, but they should never come at the expense of time and health. The key is balance. Earning enough to live comfortably, making smart financial decisions, and ensuring you're not sacrificing the things that make life truly fulfilling. Real wealth isn't just about having money. It's about having the freedom and health to enjoy it. Rule number 14, assets versus liabilities. Understanding the difference between assets and liabilities is one of the most important financial lessons you can learn. Simply put, assets put money in your pocket, while liabilities take money out. So how can you tell if something is an asset or a liability? It's easy. Just check your bank statement. If it's putting cash into your account, it's an asset. If it's costing you money, it's a liability. A lot of people assume things like gold are assets, but that's not always the case. Gold doesn't generate cash flow. It just sits there. In fact, if you're paying to store it in a vault or a safe, it's actually costing you money. That makes it more of a liability unless you're actively trading it for profit. A true asset is something that generates income. For example, dividend-paying stocks regularly deposit money into your account, whether monthly, quarterly, or yearly. These are real assets because they provide passive income that you can use however you want. This is where real financial freedom comes from, owning assets that work for you even when you're not working. The money they generate can cover your groceries, medical bills, or whatever expenses you have. One powerful strategy to enhance cash flow from stocks is selling covered calls. This allows you to collect extra income on top of your dividends, making your investments even more profitable. The key takeaway? If something is generating consistent income, it's a true asset. Now let's talk about liabilities. A lot of people think their house is an asset, but unless it's making you money, it's actually a liability. Sure, it might appreciate over time, but if you live in it, you're paying for the mortgage, property taxes, maintenance, and repairs. That's money leaving your pocket every single month. This is why so many homeowners struggle when interest rates go up. Their house is draining them financially, and if they try to sell, they often realize they're stuck with an expensive burden. The same applies to boats, cars, RVs, and other luxury items. If they don't generate income, they're just liabilities disguised as assets. The goal isn't just to make money, It's to reach a point where you don't have to actively work for it. And the only way to do that is by accumulating income-producing assets. The right assets will keep paying you whether you're on vacation, sleeping, or doing absolutely nothing. The bottom line? Assets feed you. Liabilities bleed you. Make sure you're building a life filled with more of the former and less of the latter. Rule number 15. The rule of money, it magnifies who you are. Money has a way of amplifying who you already are. If you're a generous person, having more money will only make you more generous. If you're angry and bitter, money won't change that. It will just make those feelings stronger. I've seen it happen over and over again. Some people think money will magically make them happy, but that's not how it works. The truth is, money only solves money problems. It can pay off debts, cover bills, and buy nice things. But it won't fix your health, repair broken relationships, or make you truly happy. Yes, it can make life easier, but happiness comes from something deeper. If you're miserable now, having more money won't change that. So what's the real secret to happiness? Giving. I don't know many people who are truly generous and also unhappy. There's something about helping others that fills you up in a way money never can. Some people say money is the root of all evil, but that's not really true. The real danger is when people chase money at the cost of their health, time, or integrity. That's what leads to regret. But if you think money can't buy happiness, maybe you haven't given enough of it away. Giving, whether it's money, time, or resources, brings joy. And it's almost impossible to feel bitter or resentful when you're out there making a difference in someone else's life. Since you've watched till the end, here's a bonus rule that the rich never ignore: money versus wealth. There's a big difference between having money and being truly rich. Money is just one part of the equation. Real wealth is about more than just numbers in a bank account. Let me tell you a quick story. There was once a successful businessman who had spent his entire life chasing money. He worked long hours, built an empire, and had all the luxury he could ask for: cars, mansions, private jets. But one day he visited an old friend, a retired teacher who lived a simple life by the beach. As they sat watching the sunset, the businessman said, "I've spent my whole life building wealth, yet I still feel like I need more. Don't you ever feel like you're missing out?" The teacher smiled and said, "I wake up when I want, spend my days reading, walking on the beach, and enjoying time with my family. I have everything I need. Tell me, who's really richer?" That conversation changed the businessman's perspective. He realized that true wealth isn't just about financial success. It's about time, freedom, and happiness. The richest people in the world aren't the ones who just have the most money. They're the ones who have time to do what they love, take care of their health, feel fulfilled, and prioritize relationships. You don't need millions to be truly rich. You just need enough time, enough freedom, enough joy. When you stop chasing more and start appreciating what you have, that's when you'll understand what real wealth is. At the end of the day, the biggest difference between the rich and the poor isn't just money. It's how they think. The rich see money as a tool, a game, a system they've mastered. The poor, they see money as a problem, an enemy, a limitation, and that's why they stay broke. So ask yourself, which side do you want to be on? Because after today, you can never say you didn't know the rules. The rich don't work harder, they work smarter. And now, so can you. If this video opened your eyes, don't stop here. Subscribe now because I'm exposing more money secrets every week. And if you're serious about mastering these rules, watch this video next. It'll show you how to apply these strategies in real life.